What's goody, boys? Yeah, it's me, the maple country guy that is building the world's first all-wheel drive Cavalier, single engine, stock body and OEM frame. I've been asked to do a video on how I turbocharged my stock L61 Cavalier engine, Ecotec engine. So here it is. We'll talk about the main things that you need to have to turbocharge your car. All of this can be applied to any car, but it will be specific. Some things will be specific for the Ecotec J-body Cavalier Ecotec. So the main points I'll be talking about is all that is about the intercooler piping, the oil feed, oil return, and downpipe and tuning. I don't know if I missed something, but I'll be talking about everything I can, and I'll be describing every part how I am using. It can be done differently than I am doing it. Obviously, there's a lot of way to do it, but here is how I have done it, and this is a one take, so check it out. Okay guys, first subject I want to talk about is the fuel system. So here's a diagram of how I've done it. Obviously it can be done different ways, so I'll explain how I've done it. So here I just drawn the tank, the pump, and the feed and return line, the hard return and feed line under the car. And when it goes to the engine bay, there's a stock flexible line that goes upward in the engine bay. From the tank to these flexible stock lines, everything is stuck in my case. I'm not saying the fuel pump should not be changed, but mine was really reliable at some point and until today, so I didn't touch anything of that until here. If you're not on a budget, I suggest that you upgrade your pump so it doesn't fail, depending on how much you are loading your engine with boost and fuel pressure, but that's your choice. So where it's different in my case is everything past these stock flexible lines that are going upward in the engine bay. Those lines are quick connection here. So here's how I've done it. For the feed line, it's 3/8 lines, so I just bought a quick connect 3/8 that is going to an AN 6 female. Same thing here, but the quick connect is 5/16, I think. Here is 3/8. Past this, I just connected to this a male-to-male AN 6 with a 1/8 NPT female, so I could connect to it a fuel pressure gauge, a mechanical fuel pressure gauge. So I could just diagnose if I want to if my fuel pressure is good, or just to be sure of what is my stock fuel pressure when the engine is running at idle, so I could tune the engine accordingly. Here on the return line, it's the same thing. To the quick connect to AN 6 female, I just bought an AN 6 male to male. So everything past this here, when I will be mentioning that it's an AN fitting, is always an AN 6. So I'll just mention if it's something else like a quick connect or NPT connection, but here it's all AN 6 male or female. So here it's male 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 male, and past this I just bought some stainless braided lines with female AN 6, female AN 6, and when those lines are going to the fuel rail, I just bought some special fittings that were made for the Ecotec L61 fuel rail. They can be bought on eBay easily, and here for the feed it's just an AN 6 male going to a quick connect 3/8, and for the return it's a AN 6 male, and here it's a, I don't know what is the thread, but it's a special thread that is mated to the fuel pressure regulator on the L61 fuel rail. You can search eBay, it's pretty common. And from now on, from there, as far as the fuel rail, it's all stock, and I just upgraded the injectors for 60 pounds injectors. Okay, so next step, obviously you'll need a turbo. As far as the turbo, the exhaust manifold and the downpipe, I can tell you how to do it. I can give you some part number or what to buy, like here, because depending on what turbo you'll be buying, you'll have to custom make a manifold or find one on eBay or whatever where you want to purchase it. And same thing for the downpipe and all the exhaust pipe that is going under the car. It's really depending on what you're choosing. But here, for me, what I chose, obviously I've gone with the typical eBay T3 T04E turbo. Until now it's been really reliable, and I think it depends on how it has been balanced in when going out of factory, or how much you abuse it, depending on if you are pushing it to its HP limit or not. But anyways, that's not the subject. If you don't like my idea, well, buy another turbo, obviously. So for me, it's a typical T3 T04E. So what I had to buy is for the oil feed here, we have the oil feed here. We have a special fitting that is mating on some ports on the Ecotec engine. I don't remember what is the male thread here. I'll be putting the part number when I find it on the video here or here. I don't know, but we're here it's a 1/8 NPT female to some male thread that I'll be posting. And for the oil line, I just found a 1/8 male fitting to a stainless braided line, and here it goes to I think it's a AN 4 or 3, I'm not sure. And it's going to an oil feed adapter plate for the T3T04E with a male N4 or 3 and an oil restrictor in it. An oil restrictor is just that it's not a free-flowing hole. It's a small, really small hole where the oil will be compressed and going into it. So that's it for the oil feed. As far as the oil return, same thing, but under the turbo you have to buy a special adapter plate that will bolt to the T3T04E with this is a NAN 10 male. It's going to a N10 female, and here's a fitting with a compression fitting here where you can just put some oil rated hose and compress it by screwing the fitting here. Same thing on the bottom here. It's a compression fitting where you can put the oil rated line and screw it in here so there is no leak and it's compressing the line in it. On the bottom, same thing, it's a N10. We'll say N10. Here it's a compression. And as far as the fitting on the block, obviously this will be, here it's a female like here. Here it will be an N10 male fitting to a 3/8 NPT. 3/8 NPT male. So here you'll need a 3/8 NPT tap to tap the engine girdle, to drill and tap the engine girdle so you can screw the fitting in there. I'll try to show you a picture of where I'm talking about, but this is the main reason why I think the L61 and the Ecotec is made for turbocharging, because there is a relic from the original LK9 Saab Ecotec engine where you can just drill and tap the engine girdle to put the oil return, the turbo oil return, and you don't even have to mess with the oil pan and welding some kind of fitting, and it's always leaking and all that stuff. So it's really cool. So that's it for the turbocharging, oiling and downpipe. I'll be talking about the intercooler piping in a minute. Okay, so here's the part on the intercooler piping. So as I was mentioning here, depending on what turbo you are buying, here the turbo the compressor excite piping will be different, and the compressor inlet will be different also. But for me, the compressor inlet was 2.75 inch. So I just bought a 2.75 aluminum pipe and coupler here in silicone coupler, and same thing for the air filter here. The compressor excite on my turbo was 2 inch. So here we have 2 inch. So obviously I bought a 2 inch 90 degree coupler, silicone coupler, to 2.5 inch here, and until here everything on the intercooler piping until we get to the throttle is 2.5 inch. So you'll be needing a first 80-degree intercooler aluminum pipe. Here, because of the angle of the drawing, it's not looking like it's a 135-degree coupler, but here it's a 135-degree coupler. Same thing with in a 2.5 inch. Here there is a straight piping, 90 silicone coupler. Here 180 aluminum pipe, straight coupler. Here you can buy the typical intercooler from eBay, aluminum intercooler with the 2.5 inch inlet and outlet. Here another straight coupling, another 180 piping, 90-degree coupler, straight piping, straight coupler, and here this is a blow-off valve pipe adapter. So it can be bought like that on eBay. It's just an intercooler 2.5 inch aluminum pipe that was pre-welded with a Grady type RS blow-off valve adapter, so I could just bolt on my blow-off valve, obviously a Grady type RS blow-off valve. And after that you have another 90 coupler, a straight pipe that goes to a 90 coupler here for the throttle. The first inlet is 2.5 inch, but the throttle body is 2.75 inch. So this is a special coupler. Here is I just wrote an IAT for intake air temperature sensor. You'll need a new intake air temperature sensor. Remember here when we done the drill and tapping of the engine girdle for the oil return line, you just needed a 3/8 NPT tap. You'll be needing it here too. You can just buy on eBay a GM IAT with a 3/8 NPT thread, so you can just tap with the tap you bought in the piping here and screw the IAT in it, and it will just work fine with the stock electronic from your 3rd gen J-body. The connection is the same because it's a GM IAT, so you just plug the wiring in it and it's working. I've not mentioned yet that all this stuff except the first coupling here and the last coupling to the throttle body here, all this piping, this intercooler, those couplers until here, yeah, except the blow-off valve adapter pipe here too, you can just buy the typical eBay universal intercooler piping kit, including the intercooler, and as far as I remember, you have everything you need to do this except the special coupler here, and the blow-off valve adapter pipe here. So that's it for the intercooler piping. Okay, so another step to achieve turbocharging on your Ecotec is you need to have some vacuum reference line to some of the components. The first vacuum line you'll need to have is one that goes to the intake past the throttle body, so you have some vacuum, and you have to connect it to the little nipple that is on your stock fuel pressure regulator. What this is doing is that it's referencing on the vacuum or when you're in boost, and when it's on vacuum it will decrease the fuel pressure in the fuel rail, so you can better tune your idle when you have big injectors. When you are in boost, what it will do is that it will push on some components in it that will make the fuel pressure raise according with the amount of boost that is going in your intake, and it will raise the fuel pressure by restricting the return of the fuel to the tank. So this is the first vacuum reference you have to do. The second, you can just tap directly on this line with a T line. You can use anything that is 1/8 barb fittings and 1/8 internal diameter vacuum hose. That is, you can either choose some rubber hose or some silicone hose. So the second one that you have to do is reference on the same line, and it goes directly to the blow-off valve here. What it will do is, as you are building boost in it, it will push some air on the diaphragm of the blow-off valve to ensure the blow-off valve is not opening when you are boosting, because here you have some boost pressure and it will push on the diaphragm here. So this line will just apply some forces to the other side of the diaphragm here, so it ensures it's not leaking boost pressure when you're boosting. But the second and most important function of this line is when you are going off throttle, the boost pressure will just stay before the throttle here, and this section of the intake will just go into vacuum. So here, instead of pushing some pressure, it will just go backward. So it will pull on the diaphragm. So the boost pressure here that is going excessive because you just shut off the throttle here, and the turbine, the compressor is still making some boost. It would just allow the excessive boost pressure to go out. Okay, now that all this is said, the obvious question that everyone is always asking is, do I need to tune my engine? The obvious answer to this is yes. If you don't tune your engine in whatever way, be it mechanical or software, you will eventually break something. It's not safe to run some lean air-fuel ratios and run stock timing when you are boosting and making bigger pressure, positive pressure in your intake, and obviously making the air going into your intake hotter because of the turbine just beside the compressor. But for this, I just recommend to use HP tuner. Not because I think it's the best software to run the J-body the J-body tune, but because it's the only one I know that you can use without going standalone. You can always go standalone, but if you want to keep the stock ECU, you can go HP tuners. That's not a video about tuning your engine, but just a heads up. Our engine our engine control management is using alpha and tuning mode. What this is you'll need to tell the engine for every single throttle angle for every RPM what is the amount of air, so what is the air mass that is in the cylinder, so you can so the ECU can calculate how much fuel it has to inject, so you can achieve some specific fuel ratio. It's doable. I had never tuned an engine before this engine, and I started with this engine, and I've done it myself with Alpha N. Now I'm just on how you call it? It's a fake 2-bar tune, but you can always check the J-body.org forum to know what is the 2-bar fake tune. But with the 1-bar map sensor, you can achieve some really nice numbers. I think this setup can achieve, depending on your turbo and how much what is the spec of your turbo. I think you can achieve 300 wheels easily without breaking the bank. But yeah, so that's it, guys. I don't know if I missed something. I hope not. This is my setup. With the time I upgraded some things, but I started with this, and I made my first pull with this, and it's really cool, real nice. I think everyone can do it. If you have questions, don't hesitate. Comment, subscribe, like my video, share it, and be kind, be nice, and I'll be there if you have questions. I really hope I didn't miss anything. Thank you, guys, and thanks for watching.